So here we are at my dill patch. I planted it a bit late, so I'm going to probably harvest a lot of it right now, and then I will harvest some of my thyme and my basil, and we'll take it home and show you guys how I dry it to have fresh dried herbs all season. So over here I've got thyme. This came back from last year, so I have a bunch of tomatoes on it. Just gonna pick the tomatoes here, stick them in the basket for taking home. So I got some thyme, smells amazing. Sage I've never grown, don't really use sage, but I'll cut that off as well and dry it. Parsley I don't use very much either, but we've got it. It'll come back next year, so we'll cut that up as well. And we'll take it all home and show you guys how I dry my herbs. Okay, so this is the dehydrator I'm using, the Excalibur Deluxe 301. This is a super old school one. My girlfriend got this pretty much cheap or free from a friend. It's a 9 tray. My dehydrator is on the fritz right now, the 4 tray. I need to get a new thermostat, but it's going to cost a lot of money to ship it from the States, so I'm just going to use this for now. So this one's awesome. It's got a whole bunch of different settings like mine. It's got a setting for the herbs. See if you can get in there, herbs, raisin bread, yogurt, veggies, fruits, leathers, meats, fish, and jerky. I like the square ones better for like the Excaliburs. The round ones, the round dehydrators, they heat from the bottom and blow air up, and then you have to basically rotate the trays. Whereas the Excaliburs, the fan is in the back on mine, but I think the fan's on the back on this one as well. But I believe this one, it's got holes. It's hard to see it. It's got holes all the way through underneath each tray, and I believe the air blows out of those ones and then comes up and dries the trays, or dries whatever you're drying. So I will show you the herbs we're doing now. Okay, so we're going to start with the dill. And usually what I like to do with the dill, just separate from the stems here. I haven't even washed because it's pretty clean. No bug or dirt on it right now, so we're okay. And it's pretty straightforward. And you can lay it there fairly thick on your dehydrator trays here. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can always do it in the sun on the porch, but I prefer to do it with the dehydrator. It's a little quicker. Usually dries overnight, and then just packs in the freshness really quickly. And it smells so good fresh, but even dried. The stuff from the grocery store, guys, when you get dill, dried dill from the grocery store, it doesn't even smell like anything, or it doesn't even taste like anything. It's just so, I don't know, the flavor is gone. See basil, I've dried basil, and I'll open my dried basil in like 4 months and it still smells like the fresh summer basil that you picked yesterday. And the same with the thyme. Just absolutely unbelievable drying and locking in that freshness and flavor. So I'm not really sure what they're doing with their dried herbs in the grocery store, but it can't be good because nothing has flavor. So I will never use herbs from the grocery store again, because now I have enough here to last me probably a good year or two at least. So we'll get this done here quickly. So here we go, we're just gonna quickly rip some off, drop it on, quick and easy like that. And you can get quite a bit on a tray as well, so I'll show you the tray once we get it all filled up. So here we go, this tray is pretty good. You probably put a little bit more on if you want, because the air goes through the dill pretty quickly and it dries it nicely. You just want to make sure your trays are spread out nicely like this, so everything dries evenly. So there we go, we'll get this one done. I'll finish the dill, then we'll skip on to the sage next. Okay, now we're on to the sage. So sage is a bit more stemmy here. So we're just going to pluck the leaves off. And it's not like the dill where we can stockpile up. We probably want to leave it a little spread out a bit, just so that it dries a little more evenly. And I really don't use sage for anything, but I guess I will be now. It's got a really earthy flavor. It's got the leaves, if you've never had sage, it's kind of like soft kind of leaves. They're interesting. Smell really nice. Nice aroma. But usually sage, when I think of sage, it's more like for Thanksgiving, turkeys and stuffing, things like that. And so, especially with these leaves here, you probably want to make sure you pluck the stem right off, because this is probably, can't really use that. It's kind of. So here we go, just a quick little close up for you guys here. Super quick and easy here. And this I did not wash either because it's super clean. It's not like it's sitting right down in the dirt, getting dirty. So it's pretty good. You can wash it if you want, but I'm not. I'm living on the edge, being a bit of a rebel here. Okay, so the next herb I picked here was parsley. So parsley, you probably want to pick the stems off as well. If you're gonna put in a little bit of blender, like a coffee grinder, just to puree it down so you have like parsley powder, you probably use the stems as well. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use the whole things and do kind of like parsley flakes. And these guys should dry pretty quickly too, and they're fast and easy as well. Now, I don't really use parsley a whole lot, but I guess I will be now because I've got it. And like I said with the dill, the flavor of parsley you get in the store too, the dried parsley, there's no flavor in it. So I mean, why waste your money on herbs where you're not going to get the flavor out of it? Seems kind of counterproductive to do that. So this would be nice probably for soups and things like that. So we'll do this nice and quick. I didn't have very much parsley because I only have 1 or 2 plants this year I tried. And parsley is a great herb to grow in garden as well because it comes back every year. Especially in the cold climates where I am in Ontario. It'll survive the cold winters, which is nice. It's one of those plants you plant once and then you have it for quite a while. And you can probably wash your parsley too, I didn't. Same as other ones, just being lazy I guess. So just a few more here and then we'll move on to thyme. Okay, so there's the parsley, so we'll do the thyme next. So thyme is pretty easy. It just, when you pick it or cut it, I just leave it on the stems like this. And once I dry it, I'll show you guys how to take all the thyme off the leaves here, or sorry, off the stems. This thyme probably dries the quickest out of the rest of the herbs that I have. And I've already done a whole bunch of it already, so I've got a nice stock for the winter. And thyme is one of the herbs that I use quite a bit. It's great for soup stocks, you name it. Put it into almost everything here. Rubs for your meats, marinades. It's for salad dressing marinade, it's great for that as well. Some more parsley here. So there we go. Didn't get very much time this time. Okay, so there we go. We'll take it over to the dehydrator and get it started. Okay, so we're just gonna pop this one on the top tray, top shelf. And I'll probably squish out a little bit here, so it's a little darker here. But there we go, it's in. So I'm going to fill the rest of this up with my other trays. Alright, so all of the trays are in. So next I'm just going to pop the cover on, switch it to the 95 degrees, plug it in, and I'll be good to go. So once it dries tomorrow, I'll show you the last step on getting it ready for putting it into your jars for your winter use. Alright, so it's been 24 hours basically since I've started drying the herbs. So this is the dill here. So generally what I like to do, I like to have a cookie sheet underneath because this stuff tends to break apart quite easily. You can get over your counter. So I usually just kind of pull it towards the tray here, pull it off, and give it a little bit of a shake here to get it all off. And I'll do the other one here as well. I have a few other trays, but I'll just show you these two quickly here first. It smells really good. It smells like I just picked it from the garden, which is pretty amazing. So all I do is just take it and kind of scrunch it up a bit. It's going to break down into smaller pieces. And then I'll grab a funnel as well and we can funnel it into the jar. So there we go. You just want to break it down so it's nice and small. You sprinkle it on to whatever you're using, into your dips or sauces or right onto your meat for like a dry rub. Okay, so I'll grab a funnel here. I like using my canning one because it's a nice wide mouth. And then I'll just take it and then scoop it in. So it looks like there's all in there, but what you can do, I like to just keep squishing it down as well in your jar. And it'll keep breaking down and you can fit more in. There we go. It smells amazing. So I'll finish doing the dill quickly and then I'll show you the other herbs that we dried. Alright, so the next one here we have is the sage. It dried up quite nicely. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Hard to show you. But what we'll do, I might just stick it right into the jar here actually. And then we'll just crush it down as you get it in. There you go. I'll just push it down. And I do that with my basil too. I just kind of leave it whole, and as you use it, you can just take it out and just kind of give it a little bit of a rub, and it'll break down for what you need. So nice and easy, smells great. Way better than the store-bought stuff, most definitely. Okay, I'll grab the parsley neck here. It's dried up quite well. So a lot of times when you see parsley, they usually do parsley flakes. But I'm just going to take it in here. We'll just give it a little bit of a scrunch. Break it down a bit. I've got a smaller jar for it just because I don't have as much of it. But, so you can tell it fit perfectly in there. It smells great, it's just like the day we picked it. So much better than the stuff from the store, let me tell you. Wow. This is great too if you're going to make like soups and stuff. Just toss everything in your soups and you get some nice flavors. Okay, so the last one we're going to do is thyme, and I'll grab that quickly and show you. Alright, so the thyme is a little trickier. It falls off pretty easy, honestly. And the idea is you want to try to get the herb off of the stems. It's like kind of like a woody stems. So what I like to do is kind of put it over the little colander here. And we'll toss her all in here. And it just kind of helps you break away from those twigs there. And that way you're not getting all the sticks and twigs on the bottom. And then what I like to do is take it and kind of just give it a little bit of a rub in the colander here. For your sieve, this is a fine sieve. And what's going to happen is it's going to make its way through. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera here, but it'll make its way through down into the bottom here. So you can kind of see it. It's hard to tell on the camera, I think. But I'll work it through just like this. And then I got some I did a few weeks ago, and this is the jar here, so this is what it ends up looking like. Just nice small little pieces, and it still has a great earthy smell from like the day I picked it. So I get this stuff finished up here, and then we'll be good to go. And I just like to store in the mason jars like this, and nice tight sealed. And if you really wanted to, you could probably put like a silica pack in it, and just to help keep the moisture out. But I've never had a problem with that at all, so it works out well just in your mason jar. So there you go guys, a quick easy way to dry your herbs and store them for the winter, so you have fresh tasting and smelling herbs all winter long, and not have the store-bought ones that have no flavor and not worth having. So there you go guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget guys, share it around, give it a subscribe, and give it a thumbs up at the same time. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your gardening season, and we'll see you out there. Happy gardening!